Hello and welcome to the TCF Morning Show. It is Monday, September 28th. Shout out to my nephew. It is his birthday today. Shout out to Jack. He is 5 years old today. Boomy also a new uncle this weekend for the second time, he said. Uncle Boomy has a nice ring to it. But on the show today, we got Matt Schoolfield at Schools_01 and Boomy at Boomy TCF. I am Zach Lilia at Z Lilia TCF. The main page is at typical_Chicago. On today's show, we got DOM Frederic to lead off the topics today. We got him. Me and Boomy talked to him a little bit last night. We got his thoughts on the Cubs season and how that's been going and going forward into the playoffs because they are division champs as of this weekend. We got a crazy Bears game. The Bears are 3-0, but it has not been easy at all in a crazy game in Atlanta. And then we have the NFL Sunday Week 3 recap with the boys, and then Matty Pucks, and then a little NBA playoffs to end the show. But if you want to find us on Instagram and Facebook, type in Typical Chicago Fans, and you will find us on there. And then if you want to go over to YouTube, type in Typical Chicago Fans and give us a subscribe on there. Make sure you go back. We had a cool interview with Dr. Eli Daniel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boomy went over one of Boomy's friend's fathers that he's known for a very long time. It was a very cool interview. We got that on the YouTube page. We got the full podcast.
It'll probably be the most informational interview that ever happens on this show.
Oh, yeah. And then wherever you get your podcast from, type in Typical Chicago Fans and subscribe, rate, review if it's Apple, anywhere else. Just find us on there. Shout out to 26shirts.com Chicago. Go over there. Use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans at checkout. You will get 15% off of your purchase. That is at 26shirts.com Chicago. Type in Typical Chicago Fans. You'll get 15% off of your purchase. Shout out to them. We love Typical Chicago. We love 26shirts.com Chicago. We love Typical Chicago Fans. We are Typical Chicago Fans, but we also love 26shirts.com Chicago. And if you love Typical Chicago Fans yourself, you will go over there and you will help out, support us, and then also support a good cause there at 26shirts.com Chicago. Typical Chicago Fans at checkout for 15% off. Boys, how are we doing after it's been a fall weekend? The leaves are changing. Beautiful, crisp weather. How are we doing, boys?
Like you said earlier, Zach, I got to give a big congratulations to my sister and brother-in-law. So it's been a great weekend around here.
Love it, love it, love it. Maddie, how are you doing this weekend?
It was I'm doing great. It's week 3 of the NFL. Week 4.5 roughly of college football. We had SEC kind of kicking off a little bit. Made for some interesting games. Oh, here we go. Boomy Gator here. And whatever. That game was bullshit anyway. I'm not even going to go into it, but whatever. Ole Miss was just that team's lifeless. Lane Kiffin's got to get his boys in there. But no, it's just it's good that football's cranking up. It's like you said. I mentioned to my wife when I was outside in the yard doing a little work around the yard yesterday. It felt like the leaves turned overnight. Like it was just like boom. All of a sudden we got the yellow,
up in
yellow, the red, the browns.
Unbelievable.
What course did you play
Orchard Valley.
Yeah, it's good. It's a nice course.
Nice course. But the guy was like, hopefully you guys don't have any yellow or orange golf balls because you will not be able to find them in certain spots because the leaves are already down. Beautiful fall weather. Love it, love it, love it. But we're going to get right into we got an interview with the guy, DOM Frederic, a little morale talk. The Cubs did clinch the division this weekend. They're going into the playoffs playing the Miami Marlins. And we don't want to talk about the last time we played them in the playoffs.
I'm not. Yeah, we're
not worried about that.
Not dredge up that memory of my life.
We have 3-game series here. Cubs in 2. We talked with our guy DOM Frederic about all that right here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome back our most occurring guest, one of our favorite guests. He's back for, I don't even know, the 10th, 11th, 12th time. You can find find him on Twitter at Dom_Frederic. He's the director of morale, your NL Central champion Chicago Cubs. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Dom Frederic. Fred, how we doing tonight, my man? The Cubs are in the playoffs, baby.
I'm doing great. I love joining you guys. This has been when was the first time I came on this show?
Oh, honestly, over 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, I can look it up.
I
have
it's
the
been a
SoundCloud.
Zach, because I think
back in the old SoundCloud days.
Zach, that was like Zach. Was that before you went to the media school?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That was before that. Yeah, a while ago. Anyways, yes, I'm very happy to be here. NL Central champs. It's not something that should be taken lightly, considering a lot of teams today can't say they won their division. That doesn't mean it's the end goal, but it's a little notch in the belt for this year at least, and it should be appreciated, and everyone should be thankful for it. So feeling good. I'm very happy to be here and excited to talk with you guys again.
Love having you, man. Love having you. So let's jump right into it. The Cubs will be starting on Wednesday versus the Marlins. What are your initial reactions? What do you take away? What do we look forward to playing a Marlins team that probably nobody expected to be in the playoffs when this thing started a couple months ago?
Yeah, I'll admit straight up that I haven't really done my due diligence or research on the Marlins. Obviously, a great year for them, though, considering their COVID fiasco at the beginning of the season. Everyone was going to write them off, literally writing them off, or just saying kick them out of the league. And there was a difference. And here we are. We're playing them in the first round of the playoffs, a round of a series of best of three. And it's going to be – I mean, I don't care who you – honestly, I know I say it all the time. I don't care who we play. But in general, it really doesn't matter who you play. It's just another series. Granted, you always want to win a series during the regular season, but we all know, whether it be the Pirates or it be, whoever you play, all those games are close, man. And now that it's the playoffs, it's October. You got the October breeze coming in off the lake at Wrigley. It can't be taken lightly. I won't take it lightly. It doesn't mean I'm not confident about this team at all, but you got to ride in October. You got to grind it out. And, I'll just say about the Cubs, listen, man, I'm super proud of this team. Granted, was it all dandy and all great throughout the whole season? Gumdrops and rainbows throughout the whole year? No way. But listen, they got off to that great start. They powered through the middle of the year. Yeah, it was rough, and they just kind of chipped away. Listen, you got Javi Baez, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Willie, my backstop, struggling. Schwarber still scuffling their way through. But now it doesn't matter. It was the first thing I said when we talked about this year. You have to throw stats at the window, especially now when you're in the postseason. Now it's just all about grit. It's just all about coming together. It's all about just playing good baseball. Just throwing everything out the window and letting it ride. That's why you ride in October. And I'm super excited about it. I think over the past week, the receipts I've been throwing out, people get mad.
Yes.
People are getting mad that I'm literally calling them out for things they are saying. And it just blows my mind when you got people that are saying that this team is trash, this team should pack it up, this team's done, this team isn't it. And then the next day they're like Central Division champs, exclamation point, exclamation point. I don't understand. I mean, this is baseball. This isn't basketball. This isn't Tiger Woods PGA Tour golf when he was the best guy on tour, and you just know, if it wasn't Tiger, no one else is winning. No, this is competition. This is competitive athletics. This is what you watch. This is why you roll out the balls and play these goddamn games. Is for stuff like this, and the fact that people fold like a freaking tent all the time, and you got Wilbons who they have no backbone. And it's just unbelievable. And the longer I've been doing this, again, this is my 7th year talking about this stuff on Twitter, doing this every single day, 365 days a year. You guys follow. You know how it goes. I'm doing it. I'm all Cubs all the time, 365 days a year. And just the longer and longer I've been doing it, the more and more ridiculous people are talking about. And they're just not appreciative of it. I know I'm going on this early tangent. I normally do these at the end of the podcast. I'm just right off the top because it's five playoff seasons out of the 6 years we've been in this competitive window, and people are still goddamn complaining about it. It is absurd. Be thankful that you're even here, because I'm telling you, there are 25 other franchises that do not even sniff this type of success or prolonged run of success. They don't even sniff it at all. So be thankful for it, and I am. 34 wins. I'll take it. It could have been more, obviously, but hey, man, we're the 3 seed?
Yeah, I think we are the 3
seed. We're the 3 seed in the competitive window. We just won the division. We have the chance to play the Marlins to start off the season. Start off the postseason.
I
love it.
Already overachieved in the regular season. I don't know how it's going to go over into the postseason. But like you said, in a weird season, when the Cubs were struggling, it could have gone south quickly, and they kept it all together, won the division, and I'm ready for this playoffs to start. But, Dom, what are we looking at for the rotation going forward in the playoffs?
Well, I think, and I've heard, someone might have tweeted out, but I think it's going to be Kyle the first.
I think they even said it after the game the other night that it's going to be Hendricks, Darvish, and then they don't know who else after
and
that.
Probably let John Lester Reams. Listen, Kyle Hendricks, it speaks for himself. Bad news. You guys know.
I'm wearing the shirt.
I'm on this podcast. I was coming on this podcast for how many years? It's been 2 to 3 years, and I told you guys, Yu Darvish is an ace. He is.
Yep.
At the time I wasn't saying it, but essentially what I was meaning was he is bad news. When he is on, he is bad news, and it came to fruition this year. Came to fruition last year. People still wanted to brush it off like, no, it wasn't real, and he absolutely shoved it down people's faces all year long. I would take a bullet for the guy. He's my favorite Cub. It goes him and Schwarber, teeter, they hang in the balance between who's number one. Obviously, 2 morale athletes, 2 guys.
That tweet was awesome, amazing.
Two guys. Thank you. 2 guys that I take a bullet for. And listen, man, I love having those 2 guys at the front of the rotation. I love that Bert is coming out and shoving the fact that he's going to be in the rotation next year. He might even get a spot starting the playoffs.
Stuff looked nasty today.
He shut down the White Sox today. He's been pitching really well. I don't know why you wouldn't. He's 95 to 96 with a nasty changeup. He's got this new slider. He's obviously got the curveball. He's got a little bit of a run on the 2-seamer. I mean, I don't know what you're looking for other than that. I mean, that's pretty much how good big league starters look, and he's proven it. So, and then you finally have John Lester Reams. You have the guy who just is going to grind it out. Obviously, he didn't have his best performance yesterday, but listen, man, when it comes to the playoffs, when it comes to games on the line, especially if we're facing a lefty-based lineup, then let's go with it. And we'll see how it plays, but Lester deserves to get those starts, and but I'm going to take it one game at a time. I think everything's really fluid. All we have to do is focus on game 1 and get that squared away, and then we'll move on from there.
Yeah, I just feel like you would. It would kind of be tough not to put him out there in big games, just the way he's big game John, and he's been there for us since we started this little run here, and I'm excited. I'm excited for this playoffs.
Absolutely.
Fred, you talk a lot about the best 9. Is the best 9 set for the playoffs, or is there any wiggle room at some different positions like second base and different spots in the outfield right now?
That's a good question. I think that, this year it really hasn't been about the best 9, just because, granted, I think the best 9 has had a lot of opportunities. It's come down to a lot of guys just struggling overall. I don't really have very staunch opinions about it this year, honestly. I don't. It's whatever the matchup is, that might be it's definitely a change of tune for me. I still believe in the best 9, obviously, and that's the way you should go about it long term. But this year, I don't really have so much of a preference. I just want, obviously, I want our best players to be in there, but if it is Kipnis, if it is Nico, I prefer a little bit more Nico just because of the contact rate and because of the different things he can do for the offense. You guys all know We could have Albert Almora in there. He can make all the contact he wants, but if it's not productive contact, if he can't produce overall as a hitter, it doesn't really matter. So, I'd love for Nico to have a great October where he can, get some doubles and obviously get some hits and then, work some walks and really provide the contact that this team needs in specific situations. Other than that, I love Billy Hamilton coming off the bench. I love him being a guy who can steal a base. That might be a little different change of tune for me, but overall, Cameron Maven's done really well. I think we're going to see Wilson in there all the time besides with bad news. I just think the biggest thing is this team just needs to continue the momentum, continue feeling good, continue having the confidence, continue to be strong-willed during these tough games, and so do the fans. Because it's not easy. You got to ride in October, and this isn't basketball. This isn't LeBron James going to his 10th NBA Finals. This is just a lot of the time it's a coin toss, and it's just who's gonna get the hits with base runners on, and who's gonna make the one play and things like that. And that's why you ride it out, and I'm really excited for it.
And this Cubs team is so experienced in the playoffs and working together as a team that in a series, I will take them 10 times out of 10 because there's just I don't know if there's anybody in here that it's their first time in the playoffs. Maybe Adbert if he's on the roster or whatever, but other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. When you think about these other teams and these pressure situations, it's going to hit them a little bit different, and that's why I do think with the Cubs, and again, it's not an excuse, it really isn't. But I just think when you're with a group of guys for so long, and you've been doing this and grinding out these Septembers, and this has been the first September with kind of, granted, it has been a little bit rocky, but they ended up winning the division, and credit to them. They could have folded this weekend after the Pirates series. They could have easily gotten swept.
Mm-hmm.
The White Sox are a really good team. I know White Sox fans, they think I'm public enemy number one. I'm really not. They're a really good team. They have good pitching. They have really good bullpen arms. They got a really athletic young core that can hit. And the Cubs could have easily gotten swept this weekend, but they came out firing, man. Especially when you have a guy like, and I know I just sang his praises a couple minutes ago, but when you have a rookie on the mound like Bert, it easily could have gone sideways, and for these guys to continue to push it forward and get through the mundane of every single year and every single August and September, it can wear on you, right? It's like things don't become new. It's just like you feel like you got this monkey on your back because you won, and now you have to try to one-up yourself, and it can be tiresome. It can be draining, and I just think this has been kind of like the first time where they're kind of picking it back up again. They're not feeling like they have to make excuses about anything. It's kind of this new thing. At least that's the way I see it. The Wilbons and the Tents out there that are always holding on to different things, and literally it's a disappointment from now until all these guys retire that they only won one World Series championship between 2015 and 2019. That wears on a lot of people, but I think if this team, if they can just put that aside, move forward, take one game at a time, I think it can go really well. But we got to, again, like I said, you got to take it one game at a time, and I'm just excited to watch. I'm very, very thankful to watch this team and how they've gone about it, because I know there are so many other teams that, and their fans that just grind and they love their teams, and they never have the chance to do the things the Cubs have done. And I don't take that for granted at all.
And the day the Cubs have no pressure, they have nothing to play for, they go out and score 10 runs, and it's just a nice little motivation into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just and especially with the lineup they had out here today. But credit to those guys, man. They're grinding. They're just getting it done. And I just wish more people would appreciate that, and it wasn't this just this freaking elitist mentality and this country club mentality where if you're not first, you're just automatically last, and they can't appreciate the just the overall success in a franchise or in these players. But again, that's here nor there. It's something that I'll never understand. I'll just keep receding people, and people can keep getting mad when I just call them out for their own goddamn tweets. You said it, not me. You said it.
Right.
Anyways.
But we were kind of saying with experience, though, when Wilson Contreras flipped that bat and the White Sox got mad about it or whatever, he said, I knew my team needed to turn the swagger back on, and they know when to get going. And I think that they're really starting to make a push here in this last series, because they know, the playoffs are right around the corner and we got to get going.
Yeah, man, it's again, you're playing with these guys. It gets mundane. It gets bogged down.
The same guy, the same teams over and over.
Same team over and over. You got to field the same questions from these reporters that hate this team to begin with, and it wants to run with the negative narratives to begin with. I mean, think about it. If someone let's just think about this. Okay, I'll say it from my perspective, and for someone who does have a lot of haters out there, for someone who people don't like when someone says something bad about you, you're going to see it one way or another, whether it be in a couple days, couple weeks, couple months, you'll eventually see it, and you'll be aware of that people hate or really don't appreciate what you do. Imagine being a baseball player and having to read all this stuff from the media, from the fans, from opposing teams' medias, from national media, all this type of stuff. And they got to keep going through it, and they got to keep showing up. Granted, they're millionaires. They're living an awesome life. They're set for life, all this types of stuff. But it's the human element of just this getting worn down and beaten down mentally, and then, the physical toll of playing 162 games or whatever, how many games they played this year and how many days. That stuff is real, and it's why teams don't go back to back to back. It's why the Dodgers have these awesome teams and still haven't, been able to get over the hump, and all these different types of things. Why the New York Yankees are struggling this year to just make it back in the playoffs. All of these different types of things. It's a human element, and people just think these guys are robots, and I just think it's totally inconsiderate, and it really just shows that you've never played the game, and that you've never really taken the time to either learn from someone who played the game, played higher up, minor leagues, maybe the major leagues, whatever it is. Talk to people that really know what they're talking about. You just have never taken the time to do that and educate yourself and empathize with someone who has been through it before and understands what it takes, all these different types of things. And you just think these guys are just machines, and it's just a microwave that you press 30 seconds and your meal's going to be done, all cooked and ready to go, just right there. And that's how it's going to be for all these years the Cubs are together. It's not it. It's not it. These guys are humans. They got to go through all these different types of stuff. And to your point, Zach, the human element of just really being we need a bat flip. We need to get the momentum going again. Our guys are, squandering away these opportunities. I need to get the morale going, all this different types of stuff. Stuff I'm always talking about. I think people don't appreciate that, and they don't see that it's tough for these guys. And granted, I said it before, they're millionaires. They have awesome lives, but the human element shouldn't be. They've
never played baseball like this. They're playing in an empty stadium, or whatever. It's not a normal season, and they're
absolutely.
They're keeping it. They kept it moving into the playoffs. So
and I just want to make this one last point. It's not an excuse. I'm not making an excuse saying, it's just they have it so hard. It's why they haven't won, or they haven't gotten back to a World Series since 2016. It's not an excuse. It's simply reality. It's simply reality that these teams have a tough time repeating or getting back or getting over the hump or getting back in the playoffs, winning divisions, all these different types of stuff because of all the variables that are in place. It's just reality. That's objectivity. That's not any opinions. It's just the reality of it. And people need to take the time to educate themselves and empathize with how all the franchises, all 30 franchises go through the ups and downs through decades and decades of good teams, bad teams, inconsistent things, all this type of stuff, because it's real. It's objective.
For sure. You guys both made great points talking about how veteran led this team is, but you have mentioned some of the younger guys and guys that don't experience. So is there anything we can expect out of like Adbert Alzolay? Then this obviously Braylon Marquez gets the call up today. Can we expect anything out of those younger guys that might not have the experience, you think, coming into the
offseason? You mentioned offseason. Do you mean offseason or do you mean postseason?
Postseason. My bad.
No, you're good. I mean, I don't see why Bert can't come in and either, whether it be, you know, you get to a game 5 or whatever it is, or you get in long relief or whatever the case may be, why Bert can't be an X factor arm in the bullpen. I don't think I'm going on a crazy limb by saying that. Like, right. He has very good stuff. He's pitched in very big games. Granted, today was the division was locked up, but it's still a big game. It's still a big game when you're facing a White Sox lineup that's as good as they are. And right. He proved it.
And it's still the Sox. Like, it's still the White Sox.
It's the White Sox. Exactly. It's like, you know, they're big games. And so I don't see why Bert can't be an X factor, a guy who can come in and throw big innings in the postseason and be a starter next year. I mean, that's the way I see it trending. Braylon, I'm pushing Braylon a little bit hard. I mean, I know he's probably not going to be ready, you know, next year as a starter. In terms of the postseason, I don't know. You get a big lead. I don't see why you can't throw him in there for an inning. See what happens, man. I mean, he had a little bit of nerves today, but listen, man, he's a 21-year-old facing a really good lineup as a big leaguer, and you know, a guy that, you know, an international player that hasn't seen the bright lights necessarily here in America. I think as Americans, you just forget that there's all these players that come from different parts of the world, and they just aren't used to either different settings. Granted, there were no fans in the stands, but it's something brand new for the guy. And he's 21 years old.
That could have made it even weirder.
Yeah, I mean, it's just different, man. And credit to him, you know, even though it probably didn't go the way he wanted it to go. I mean, he's got a massive arm. It's smooth. It's from the left side, all these different types of stuff. So, I don't know. We'll see about Braylon, but in terms of Bert, I absolutely see him being an X factor. And I'm not trying to downplay Braylon's skill or talent.
It's just he's young.
You
want to throw that in there during the playoffs. But with the playoffs, it's been all right throughout the season. They've been pumping in crowd noise, but during the playoffs, I mean, I went to a Cubs game when they played the Nationals. I think that would have been like 2018. I went to Wrigley Field, and I mean, it's just so different. Or maybe it was 2017. It was just so different because I mean, the place is rocking. It's just it has to make the players more pumped up, and the sound, the crowd noise sound, it can only do so much.
Yeah, it's gonna be incredibly interesting to see how it all plays out. I think. I don't know. I think I'm not in the situation or scenario these players are in. I can just imagine, though, with no fans in the stands and no like momentum coming from the fans or the atmosphere outside the field, I would think the dugouts are going to just be like full morale. I mean, kind of what you've thought about, kind of what you've seen throughout this whole 60-game season, why the Cubs are getting criticized for being, you know, like chirping or whatever it was. I don't see where that's going to change. I think that's going to be pretty consistent. Guys trying to get their own energy up, morale, all this different types of stuff. Again, different, but I am interested to see on how the postseason atmosphere is going to be without fans.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be totally different because it's just like you said. You hit like a home run in a playoff game, and I mean the place just goes nuts, and that has to do something for the opposing team or whatever. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see. Absolutely.
I'm excited for. How are they going to do that? Are they going to be? How are they doing the playoffs? Like, there's no way they're going to be traveling down to Florida, will they?
No, the first round is at the higher seed, and then I just had it here. The NL bubble is NLDS games will be in Arlington and Houston. The ALDS games will be in Diego and LA. NLCS at the Rangers, and the ALCS at San Diego, and then the World Series at the Rangers.
That will be weird. Playing a game in a stadium that
weird.
neither team is the home team, really.
It will be weird, but it's going to be
it's fun.
It's going to be weird. It's going to be fun.
Better than no baseball.
Yeah, kind of 2020 in a nutshell, except not really the fun part. But I'm very thankful for everything that's going on. So, yeah, we'll see, man. I'm just excited. I'm just excited that we get to see postseason baseball and that this team can continue its journey to win another championship.
So really happy. Postseason baseball is just something different. I don't know what it is, but like especially with this rotation and this team, you know that they'll be able to get up for it, and like I said, the experience is there.
Listen, man, I know I say it a lot, and I know I'm not trying to do the shtick or anything. It's just different here. It's just different. I mean, getting up every morning. I don't live super far from the ballpark. Just waking up in the morning, getting in my car, driving to work, especially walking out of my apartment. You got that little chilly breeze off the lake. I don't live that far from the lake. And you get that October breeze, that October feeling. When you wake up, you don't get that in many places. And I'm telling you, you couple that with Cubs baseball, that feeling, the leaves are starting to change on the trees. I went golfing today, and it was just beautiful looking at all the leaves, all this different type of stuff. October baseball is just different here. A lot of places can't say that. I've lived in New York. I went to school out on the East Coast. Like, I've seen it. I've seen it out there. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's just different here. And I wish we could have fans in the stands at Wrigley Field. I really do. But just don't forget that postseason baseball here. Hopefully it's just 2 games that we see against the Marlins here at Wrigley Field. It's just going to be different. It's just going to have a different vibe in the air, even with no fans in the stands. It's like Mother Nature knows that the Cubs are playing baseball here in Chicago in October, and it just smells different. It feels different. It's just a lot more electric. There's a lot more morale.
Nature is healing. The Cubs are back in the playoffs. So
very true.
Make sure to follow Dom on Twitter and Instagram at Dom_Frederic. Fred, we can't thank you enough, man. You've come on here so many times. It was great to have you. I would always say Cubs in 4, but I think it's going to be Cubs in 2 for this week. And then we can move.
Cubs in 2. Cubs in 2 with the Cubs in 4 mentality. I don't care who we play. Doesn't mean, but I'll say it. I'll say it again, man. They're going to be good games. The Marlins are coming in. They've earned that playoff spot. They're coming in here. I'm not putting anything. I'm not disrespecting the Marlins at all. I'm just excited to watch this team play. I'm excited to watch postseason baseball, and I'm excited to be here in Chicago in October with Cubs baseball happening. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for having me again. It's always the best to be on here. You guys are the best.
Thank you. And also, I got my bad news shirt on. Go over to the Morale store and check all that out.
Zach, I tried to send you guys stuff that one time, and I don't know what happened to the shipment. I got to send you guys some stuff, honestly, for all the times you've let me come onto your podcast.
We love it. We love it every time. Like I said, playoffs start. I think it was Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So let's go Cubs in 2.
Wednesday. Cubs in 2. There we go. I don't care who we play.
Thank you, Dom, for coming on.
Always coming on, man.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Shout out to Dom Frederic at Dom_Frederic on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you go over there. He is always keeping the morale going with the Cubs through this crazy
How about
year.
the energy that guy brings, too?
Energy,
My
the
God.
stats, the things he knows is insane. I
Just inject that into my veins.
don't know where he finds the time to find all these stats.
We were talking before we recorded the podcast, was it on Friday night, how I just felt like I was just like, wasn't feeling great about the Cubs. I wasn't feeling like, even coming off that night, they kind of beat the shit out of the Sox. It was kind of one of those things where it's like, they have a ton of confidence that, they're going to go out and just storm through the National League. But you see his tweets, you hear him talk, and it's just like, how do you not get pumped up? How do you not get a little bit like, all right, you know what? He's right. We do got some players. We do got some good pitchers.
And it's not like he just says we got some good players and whatever. He also throws out some like stats that I've never heard of.
Well, yeah, it actually tells you why.
And it's some of those things. It's like after the interview, I was like ready to run through a brick wall, ready for the Cubs series to start on Wednesday because he gets you pumped. He knows how to keep the morale going. That is why he is the director of morale.
I do need to get the bad news long sleeve white tee though.
I got my.
I don't see it in the market either, which stinks yet. So we gotta mention to him. We need to get that thing out. I want the bad news long sleeve tee, dude. That's the way to go.
Yeah, I got that. I got the. It's kind of like a darker blue. I would say navy, maybe you would say. The bad news long sleeve. Like I said, that we talked to him about that. How cool it had to be getting that tweet from you, Darvish.
My wife's actually got more Dom shirts than I do. To be perfect.
Love it.
She's got more than I do.
Love it. But Matty, we got to get into this. Bears win, crazy game in Atlanta.
Whew.
Another crazy game. Nick Foles comes in. What one was that? Was that before half?
It was before that. No, you're right. It was in the early third. This was right after that garbage pick that Trubisky threw.
Yeah, it was not. It was a weird spot. I think they just did it because they were in a spot where they wanted to change something. They wanted to spark in this offense. They got it, and the Cubs, the Bears. I mean, have they? How many minutes in a game have the Bears actually led, and they are 3-0? It is insane. They've come from behind.
Not a
every
lot.
game.
Not a lot in week 1 and week 3. We'll just put it that way. Week 2, they did have a lead, and tried to piss it away, but
yeah, they did. Sorry. Against the Giants,
well,
they made it very interesting.
They made it way too interesting, especially after they lost their best player. A game like today, it's one of those things where it's like they made the right call. I think Trubisky didn't have it today. Whatever the times he's looked good this year, and I think especially the times he looked good 2 years ago was not how he looked early today, and you could tell. And that pick that he threw, where it looked like he thought it was man. Jimmy Graham read that they were playing zone, so Jimmy Graham made the right move.
Hey, Jimmy Graham.
Trubisky just hands over a pick, dude, and you can't have that bad of a misread.
But
you really can't.
When he went out, though, that could be the last time you ever see him in a Bears jersey.
That's probably going to be the case.
You can't make that decision
until Nick Foles gets hurt.
I literally said it to Boomy. I'm like, I hate to be this way, but until he gets hurt, I guess Trubisky will be
very
sitting
likely
out,
to happen.
But hopefully it doesn't because I like Trubisky. I mean, he seemed like a nice guy. I wanted to work out. I kept wanting to work out. I really didn't think he played bad today. He didn't really play bad today at all. But he just had some turnovers, and it just wasn't going anywhere. And Nick Foles goes in. Probably, like I said, they say he should have had 5 touchdowns because he had 2 dropped. But they go out.
2 wiped out by officials too.
Yeah, some weird officiating there from.
The Allen Robinson one was ultimate. That should not have been a touchdown. But I don't know how would you call it a touchdown on the field,
I only had
then overturn it.
How the hell do you overturn that with the refs? And that was the I think it was the roughing the passer. I did not think that was roughing the passer.
The one on Hicks was brutal.
And then one at the beginning of the game. When they had, what was that? They tried to break it up, and it was pretty much the same play Eddie Jackson had last week, and they called PI on him when he intercepted it, when he met the guy hit the offensive guy too early or whatever. But 3-0, that's all that matters, really and truthfully, going forward. Those games are over with, and we are 3-0. Indianapolis Colts go to Soldier Field on Sunday, and we will see Phillip Rivers, and then we will see Tom Brady the next week. So hopefully
the schedule picks up a little bit.
Yeah, it picks up, but it also, 2 older QBs. Hopefully this defense, who played well, gave up, what was it, 26 points. But the offense not helping there in the first half, pretty much. But the time of possession, the Bears won in that first half, I think.
Oh, they dominated.
Because they just gave them the ball in horrible spots.
One thing I'll say, and I haven't heard a ton of people talk about him yet, but David Montgomery looks like a different player
and
this year
unfortunately,
than he did last year.
Tariq Cohen, I think he tore his ACL.
He's done for the year.
He did. Yeah, he's done for the year.
Unfortunately, that was just
David Montgomery looks like an absolute feature back at this point.
Yeah, he was running guys over today.
Give the guy the ball 20 times, whether it's in the air or on the ground, however you got to do it. Give him his 20 touches. He's your best playmaker by far now. With with Cohen gone, for the rest of the season. Cordero Patterson too. He had some.
Yes.
He ran well. And his ability in the kick return game to kind of flip the field position, haven't seen that in a long time around these parts. And I know you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. Back to having a guy that just can set up the field position, for a fledgling offense, when you can have a returner that can instead take it from the 25 and get you to the 40, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
Oh yeah. So Bears 3-0. We got the Colts next Sunday. We move on hopefully. Hopefully we have some easier wins.
How about
at
Khalil
some
Mack
point.
today too, Zach?
What?
Real quick, Khalil Mack. How good was he today?
Good. I mean, he was getting to that. He was getting to the quarterback. He was pressuring everything. He was.
Between him and Hicks, they
also
just were in the backfield all game.
Okay,
it felt like.
Let's move into it. We got our NFL Sunday Week 3 recap first. The Atlanta Falcons. Why are you throwing the ball on second down? Up what? I think you're up 2 touchdowns at that point.
Clock management.
What do you?
And third down.
And third. Well, yeah, and third down. But that's when you do it
again. He did it twice.
Oh, and it's I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with that team now. They are 0-3, and they will be playing the Green Bay Packers next week, so it does not get any easier for them. But Boomy, do you have some of the Week 3 games for us?
Yeah, I sure do. Let's run it back. The Rams come back from 28-3, but lose late on a horrible pass.
That was a horrible call, I think.
That's a bad
We were
call.
watching
Bills
that game. Awful.
35.
Josh Allen.
He played well. He played well, but
Josh Allen's a damn good quarterback.
But that was a bad call.
Get to that point.
Bad call.
The Washington football team continues to stink. They lose to the Browns, who now officially have their first winning record since 2014.
2014. I think it was week 15, 2014 or something crazy. Maybe it was earlier than that. And that was the last time they had a winning record.
Yeah. Vikings find another way to lose. Titans 31-30 in Minneapolis. The Vikings are hopeless. They're just.
If you score 30 on Tennessee against that team, against that defense, how the hell do you not win a game?
I don't know.
They stink. Yep. The Patriots keep moving after a tough loss last week and beat the Raiders in Foxborough 36-20.
Really, truthfully, you found out that new stadium can really get a team going because I don't think the Raiders are very good.
Hard to disagree after
they won, but his stats were not that great.
He had a good second half. This first half was very.
You know
average.
what I mean? Like a good team should capitalize on that, and the Raiders just did nothing.
Yeah, but he makes that running game so much better too because he is a threat. He's a threat downfield.
The Patriots are going to be good. I'm just saying that I just think that
it's a different element for that team.
I think the Raiders
New England this year
are not going to be good going forward.
I think that was the absolute perfect place for Cam Newton to go.
Yeah.
Other than the Bears.
I would agree with that.
The 49ers down, it feels like half of their squad still keep it chugging 36-9 over the hopeless Giants.
They're lucky they play the Giants. No Saquon. Daniel Jones, I mean, they know what they're going to do every play. So I just.
In the third quarter, Daniel Jones had minus fantasy points.
I feel bad for the guy.
I don't think he's that bad.
No, he's got nothing around him right now. He's
right.
Saquon going out. It's just
completely nothing around him.
The Bengals and the Eagles play to a tie, which feels like it happens once a year with the Bengals.
We were so close to another scoregami with that game, but unfortunately,
but they both those.
I think
teams
ties in the NFL.
You guys,
I know you play whatever you want. You don't want to play forever, but I don't like ties.
Did
you guys see the hit that Joey B took?
They better spend every draft pick drafting lineman this year because they're going to get that kid killed.
He got pummeled.
To get back up from that, though, I don't think I would.
Crushed him.
if somebody'd have to carry me to my house, and I wouldn't leave for a week or so.
You would just have to play around my lifeless corpse.
I'd be crying.
There
I would cry.
It made me hurt just watching it. The Steelers take care of the Texans, who have, I think, like the hardest schedule in the first half of the year. But Deshaun Watson made some really dumb plays. He was trying to extend plays that he probably should have just thrown away, threw a couple bad picks, and the Texans fall to 0-3, I believe. The Colts just throttled the Jets.
Hey, bitch is 3-0, just so you know. Instead, Deshaun Watson's 0-3.
Yeah, if you start the game,
just gonna remind everybody.
It's like a starting pitcher.
Yeah, it's like a pitcher.
Start the game, you get the win.
He went 5 innings. He went past.
But I guess they were technically losing when he went in, so that we.
True. Yeah.
He got a no decision for today.
He got no decision.
Correct.
Nick Foles 1-0.
Good point. Obviously, good call.
Hey.
That was my bad. He's still 2-0 though.
What other team has 2 quarterbacks that are undefeated?
Not a lot.
Say that.
Not a lot. We got 2 undefeated quarterbacks. How about you?
Yeah. Hopefully next week we have 2 quarterbacks that are both 2-0, and then.
But I really don't think the Jets are going to win a game this year. They are. Wow.
Jets stink. Adam Gase. How is he a coach?
I think they're trying to get Adam Gase fired.
Yeah, I don't get that.
No, I think they want him there to
it's
just
lose.
create an absolute dumpster fire to
get
Trevor Lawrence to go to New York. Trevor Lawrence in New York is the perfect fit. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah. Sunshine in the big city.
Oh, yeah.
The Panthers take care of business. They beat the Chargers 21-6 minus Christian McCaffrey. Still pull it out in L.A. The Chargers are playing in games. They just can't finish anything right now.
Yeah. They just young team.
The Lions pick up their first win of the season, beating a pretty good Arizona Cardinals team on the road. Still don't know what to think of the Lions, but I still don't think they're very good. I think
nothing of the Lions.
I think they're better than 1 and 2.
I would agree that.
It was coaching, and that's just going to keep up with you all year.
I don't disagree there either. That's a good point.
The
Thank you.
Buccaneers pick up another win in Denver, 28-10. Make pretty light work of the Broncos.
Why was Blake Bortles not playing?
Proving that he's the defensive coordinator, I think, at this point, right?
Why was Blake Bortles not playing?
Because he's been there for 2 days and probably doesn't know.
That's it.
That better be the only reason.
I think that's the only reason, because he's definitely the best quarterback on that roster. He's the best quarterback on that roster right now.
You're probably right. He stinks.
Hey,
he's
better.
He stinks, but
you fanboy freaking Tim Tebow, and you're gonna try and come at me.
Bortles has gotten a little bit of a raw deal because there were stretches of his career when he had Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns. They had a damn good offense.
Yeah,
he's one of the best quarterbacks against Tom Brady of all time.
And he seems like an A-OK guy.
Seems like an awesome guy.
Yeah.
He said,
I like him
the
as
quote
the guy
where he said if he wasn't playing football, he'd be working construction, smoking cigarettes is awesome.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
The Seahawks at home take down the Cowboys 38-31. Man, Russell Wilson is so good.
14 touchdowns, boys. 14 touchdowns in 3 games.
That guy continues every season to get better. He's better every year.
No MVP votes, I don't think, ever for the guy. And still.
One. He's gotten one.
And none last year. He was damn good last year, too. I mean, last year was the Mahomes.
And if he's not
Lamar
one,
show,
he's 2 in the league right now. I mean, if you say what you want, I mean,
all right,
unbelievable.
Pop quiz. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, or Wilson. Who are you taking
to win a title in this year?
Now?
Or
who are you building a team with out of those 3?
Oh, Mahomes.
Yeah, probably Mahomes.
I think I would probably go Mahomes too.
But it's a really tough argument.
Okay, let's flip it. With 3 minutes to go and you're done, and you need a touchdown.
I say Russell Wilson has the greatest, like float ball. I don't know what you call it.
His deep ball's insane.
But he just goes over defenders right into his wide receiver.
Into Tyler Lockett's hands, or a few years ago, it seemed like Doug Baldwin. Every deep ball.
PMT said this. There's like 8 Tyler Locketts on the team. I feel like. Like every time, it's like, he catches the ball. He's all over the place.
You got a Tyler Lockett who's like your smaller speed guy who just pulls the top off the defense. But then you got DK Metcalf, who's probably faster
Oh, yeah.
and is the size of a fucking linebacker. Like, he's a monster. And, like, he had his bonehead play of the day today. I don't know if you guys saw that touchdown that he was kind of slowed up and started celebrating at the 3 and got the ball punched out for a touchback.
That's like something you do on the playground when you're in like 6th grade.
It's something you do as a first or second year guy, and you never do it again. So I'm sure with his ability and the coaching staff they have there, I don't think that's going to be an issue for him.
No,
down the road.
No.
I agree. And then in the Sunday night game, the Packers are leading the Saints 20-17 in the third quarter. And tomorrow night we have the game.
Saints are in the red zone. I'm just going to announce that Saints are in the red zone.
No one cares, Matt. Monday night we have the Chiefs and the Ravens, and there was no need to add that, Matthew.
They are, but it's 4th down, and I think they're going to have to kick a field goal.
About
I think it will be.
Looking at a tie game here. Looking at a tie game with Will Lutz.
But we will wrap this show up pretty quickly here. We had a long interview with our guy DOM Frederic, which is awesome. We love listening to Dom. He knows what the hell he's talking about. He talks. He has the receipts, and he can back up everything he says. But Matty, what we got here in the Stanley Cup?
Well, we got a series again.
Series.
Yeah, and it was a hell of a game on Saturday night. Dallas jumped out to a quick lead early on in the game. Like, I don't know, 2.5 minutes into the game, they were up 1-0. Corey Perry scored. You'll remember his name here in a little bit. But then Tampa took a lead, kind of seeming like that they were, probably going to win the Cup. I think there was, 6 minutes to play or so. Dallas ties it up in the third. Pavelski, again with another monster goal, makes it 2-2. Goes into double overtime where Corey Perry strikes again. Gets his second of the game. The veteran, we saw him when the Hawks played the Anaheim Ducks in the Western Conference Finals in 2015. He was a pest then. He's a big-time goal scorer then. He's a bigger pest now because he's not as big of a goal scorer now. He's an old veteran. He's an angry, cranky, old, pissed off, bitter old man at this point in the NHL. But he's scrappy. He can still score when he gets a look, and he didn't miss last night. Obviously, he's the kind of guy that I think Tampa fans have probably grown to hate tremendously this series because he's one of those guys that he's always picking. He's always banging on a body, taking a cheap shot, taking a second or third cheap shot. And then he gets like a little grimy goal that he also took his 4th cheap shot on just to get set up for that goal. So it's like he's a guy that opponents hate. And, it's also the kind of guy that galvanizes a 3-1 deficit into a possibly, go back, tie it up, and give us a Game 7, what we all want.
Nothing's better than a Game 7. With that,
that's what we need,
tonight.
Man. I want a game. Yeah, I want a Game 7. I really, really want Game 7 in this series because those two offenses, those two teams are both really fun, and they just got good players up and down the roster.
Love it. But we'll get into the NBA playoff talk right here. We got the Heat just beat the Celtics, so it will be the Heat and the Lakers in the NBA Finals in the NBA bubble. We'll do
LeBron revenge series.
Yeah, we'll do more of a preview the day before the game, the day of the game. But we got the Heat and the Lakers in the NBA Finals. I think that will be very competitive. We were talking a little bit last night how Bam can go guard Anthony Davis, and we know Jimmy Butler loves to guard LeBron. He's done it before, so that will be hopefully an exciting series in the NBA Finals. But boys,
I think we got the 2 best teams in the NBA left.
I think that is. I think with this weird bubble and everything, I think that it really is the best 2 teams, at least playing right now.
The one thing I want to throw out, and it sucks because I don't think it's come to fruition. And I thought, and I've kind of maintained this in weeks and weeks and weeks of our shows, that this year in bubble sports is when a team could go steal a title. Mm-hmm. And I think one of those years where maybe not the best team goes out and wins the title. And we're not seeing that because you're looking at the NHL and the Lightning were probably the best team in the league for probably the last 3 or 4 years, really, when you look at it. They're, on the doorstep of winning their first cup. Dallas has been an extremely talented team for the last few years on the doorstep of winning the cup. The Lakers were probably everyone's favorite to win it all going into the year once you have LeBron and Anthony Davis. with the injuries that the Warriors, had, you knew that they were not going to be a threat this year. So it's kind of like the Lakers had to be the clear favorite. Miami, though, you know what? Coming in, they were a 4 seed out of the East. That's our chance. And that's why I'm going to take the Heat in the series.
Me too.
I want to root against
Lakers in 5.
I want to
saying
root
that.
against
That's so
LeBron.
stupid. It's not gonna be Lakers in 5.
I need
It might be
something
Lakers
to
in
get
6 or
behind
7,
here.
but it's not gonna be 5. It's gonna be a good series.
No, I can tell you the one guy that is not going to be afraid of LeBron is who he's facing in the series.
Jimmy
That's
Butler.
the one guy
Jimmy Butler
in the NBA
loves
who will not
to
be
go
afraid of
against
him. He's nowhere near as good as LeBron. I'm not going to say he is.
No, but he's
He's
loves
not
the
going to be
moment.
afraid of the challenge. That's for sure.
No.
And he's not going to get. I don't think you're going to see what happened to Denver 2 nights ago. Got it, Zach. Got the right day this time. When LeBron just kind of took over in the last 3 minutes of the game, was hitting shot after shot after shot. His
I
mid-range
don't
game
think
was
the
just
Heat would allow
ridiculous.
that.
I don't think that happens against Jimmy Butler. I just don't think it does.
No, I think he'll. Hopefully, it's a fun series though. But thank you to Matt at schools_01 and Boomy at Boomy TCF for joining me tonight. I'm Zach Lilia at Z Lilia TCF. Follow the main page at _Chicago, Instagram, Facebook. Type in typical Chicago fans. Follow, like us on there. Go over to YouTube, subscribe to the Typical Chicago Fans YouTube page. Wherever you get your podcast from, type in Typical Chicago Fans. Follow us on there. You can find all of our podcasts wherever you get your podcast at. If it's Apple, please subscribe, rate, and review. Shout out to 26shirts.com Chicago. Use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans at checkout, and you will get 15% off of your purchase. Again, Typical Chicago Fans at checkout, and you will get 15% off of your purchase at 26shirts.com Chicago. Anything else, boys?
Have a great week.
I hate Aaron Rodgers. He just did a stupid smile and a stupid little point to his receiver from a nice player. I hate that
He'll
guy
look good
so
in a
much.
Bears
I
uniform
really do.
next year. This has been the TCF Morning Show, Monday, September 28th. We love you all.
Peace.